Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean,
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
Here, tell us about courage, Phil. Tell us about courage.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
All right.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Got McConaughey there, but deal. I mean, guess what? We have some more gaming news. Can you believe that?
We do.
Yeah.
It's as was prophesied at the end of last episode. Nintendo's just going to have a Nintendo Direct without really announcing it. Sure enough.
I mean, what was it? The night before?
Yeah, they
were
gave
gonna
us
do
like
this in the
a
morning.
day's worth of warning, and then, yes, a Nintendo Direct happened.
So, but first, before we get into that, we're going to have Landon talk to us about a couple of things he wants to talk about. So,
Yes.
Landon, take it away.
I actually have tech news, not gaming news. Not that should be a surprise to anybody listening, because
that happens.
I'm usually not the one with gaming news. It's usually a shock when I do have gaming news, but unfortunately that is not today. Especially since, Stadia is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
True.
Anyways, things that are a thing from Google, that came out weird. Anyways, Pixel tablet reviews have started to come out this past week, and so far they're not great.
Oh, really?
Not that, I can't say I'm all that surprised. It is an Android tablet, but unfortunately, the things that everyone hated about Android tablets is not necessarily the thing that everyone hates about this one, because at least Google now has finally updated their first-party software to run and look really nice on a tablet. So, software-wise, it's actually, not bad. Still not great, because there are, third-party developers that are kind of a, key feature to any mobile device that have not made their software great for tablets in general. Even for iPads, some of them like Instagram still not doing a tablet app for some dumb reason. And yeah, so that's fun. But the things that most people really don't like about this tablet, apparently the audio is not great. So like the built-in speakers on the tablet are okay, but they're tablet speakers. There's not a lot of bass to them. And that's, you would say, that's what the dock is for. Yes, it does add bass, but even then, most people are saying that it's okay, but not great. And speaking of that bass that they have for it, that comes with it, it's got magnets that kind of hold the tablet onto it to turn it into a home hub type device. The magnets are, I've heard people describe them as both too strong and not strong enough.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So, and like someone said that the best way that Google could alleviate both of these problems, well, at least one of these problems, is to make the dock more hefty. Apparently it's like really lightweight, even though it's not something that you're ever going to be moving around, because that doesn't make sense. So like when you go to take the tablet off of the dock, you can't just one hand take it off really easily, because the dock will just come up with it. So that's where they're too strong. But then the other issue is where they're not strong enough is when you go to press the power button that is also the fingerprint sensor, depending on how hard you push, it can just slide right off.
Oh,
that's so bad.
If you want a really great example of this, go and watch the video of the All About Android podcast. Unfortunately, it was their last episode that they're doing. They're not doing that anymore, sadly. But that episode, one of the hosts on there is showing, like, she's talking about this problem that she has with the tablet. And as she's kind of doing it softly so it doesn't fall, but then as she's doing it, it does just completely fall off of the dock in her hand and like onto the table, and it's hilarious. But that's apparently a thing that more than one people, like a decent amount of these reviewers, are mentioning. So not a good thing there.
No.
And I mean, we already knew about this one, but the speaker can't be used by itself. It's got to be, the tablet has to be docked on it. Like the speaker can't cast to this, or the tablet can't cast to the speaker. The speaker's not a Bluetooth device, so you can't use it with other things. It doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to plug other stuff into it. Also dumb. So that's fun.
Yeah. Sounds kind of like all of the worst iPod docks I ever had.
Yeah. Yep. So it's interesting. And yeah, I don't know. I really like the idea behind this tablet. Like, having a tablet that doubles as a home hub device is a great idea. It's just, unfortunately, Google didn't do it great this time. Maybe the second generation will be better. Hopefully they'll take what people are saying and be like, okay, we'll fix these things and make it better. But more likely to happen is Google will just say, oh, well, we'll just not make another one, because that tends to happen with Google's.
That is kind of how that goes.
Like, their in-house tablets have not had a great track record. So we shall see.
If people don't like it the way we want them to like it, we're not making another.
Yeah, I mean, there was one tablet that a lot of people really liked. It was the Nexus 7. It was one of the Android tablets that just everyone loved for some reason. I mean, they don't make tablets in that size anymore, other than, well, that's not true. Amazon makes their Fire tablets in that smaller 7-inch form factor still. But, I mean, most phones are encroaching on that size as it is, so there's not a reason to have very many tablets like that. But that was like the only in-house tablet that Google made that people really liked. And even then, the software was basically just like blown up phone software, which, I mean, that was kind of the case with most tablets at the time anyways. But yeah, so we shall see what happens in the future. But it's not looking great so far for the Pixel tablet.
Dang.
All right.
Oh, bummer.
Now on to some better news from Google. YouTube TV is expanding the abilities for its multi-view feature. So back in March, with the NCAA basketball tournament that was going on, you could watch up to 4 different games at a time in this new multi-view feature that they added for it. But the problem was then is it only worked with sports, and you could only, like, if there were games on at the time, like multiple games, then it could do it. You couldn't do it with different sports or whatnot. But now on Twitter, the YouTube TV account tweeted out this thing saying, starting today, in the Home tab, a small portion of members will see us testing up to 5 brand new multi-view streams that will be able to watch 24/7 across news, sports, business news, weather, and deportes, so a Spanish channel. It's like, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to be watching news along with, I don't want multiple channels of news. That's not a good thing for anybody.
No.
Very true.
And weather, I don't, who watches the weather channel anymore? I mean, obviously there might be people because it's still a thing, but, okay.
I always wonder with channels like that, is it only a thing because it is technically a part of cable bundles? And
Probably.
So there are people paying for cable and satellite that are paying for this channel to exist, even though nobody is actually watching it. I wonder about that.
Most likely, like they get $1 per subscriber or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably. But yeah, it's interesting. So it's still not a thing that you can pick the channel that you want to watch, unless it's one of these, and it's only select channels too from these type of think it's very strange.
I kind of understand the reasoning because it sounds an awful lot like they're like, oh, these are the channels that it's easy to multitask, right? Where like,
right.
you don't really want to pay attention to most of what's happening on these channels. So you don't want to watch them full time, but you do kind of want to have them on in the background so that if something does pop up that catches your attention, you can just focus on that real quick and get that piece of information and then move on with your life. So like, I understand that, but also not having the option to have like a news channel and a game and the weather on in the background while you're mainly watching a show.
Yes.
I feel like that's a lost opportunity. Like being able to just have one show on, and then if something happens on the news where you're all like, oh, I want to pay attention to that for a second, and you can just look at that. Like, I think there's value to that. So I'm sure it'll probably evolve in the future, but I kind of get where they're going for with it. It's just that I think that even if you had 5 options for news and like a couple of games and the weather and whatnot all going at the same time, there would still be quite a few moments where absolutely nothing happening there would hold your attention.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's interesting. Like I have the same thought as you. It's like, I wouldn't mind having some of these channels on in the background. Over like one example I thought it was like during the Olympics when if you're just like, it's a sport that you don't watch on a regular basis, but because it's the Olympics, you're going to watch it. Like, I would love to have a TV show or something on a different channel and have that on in the background. Then if something starts to happen that I want to watch on that sport, I can switch over to that really easily. But yes, have a different show on that's not news or weather or, something like that. Yeah. And I would imagine that that is probably going to happen at some point. I mean, other cable TV, like DirecTV, I had DirecTV at one point. I could watch up to 4 different channels at a time, and it was open to whatever channel I wanted. So it's not like this is a new feature that other regular TV providers haven't had in the past. Yeah. It's just new to YouTube TV. And they're probably just rolling it out slowly like this to make sure, just make sure that it works the way we want it to before we just open it up to everything. And hopefully that's what they're doing. And eventually down the road, it will open up to whatever channel, whatever time, whatever you want. Because I really like that feature and I want it back. All right. That is all my Google news. Now some general tech news. So Amazon has finally announced what days will be their Prime Day sales. The official days are going to be July 11th through July 12th. So those are the 2 days that there will be lots and lots of interesting sales. Although, listener, I would keep an eye on what prices are right now, because they might just slowly creep up, and then on Prime Day they drop saying they're 20% off when in reality they are the same price they are right now. So keep an eye on that, because some companies do that. Not everyone, but there are ones that do that, unfortunately. But also, technically not Prime Day, but Prime Day sales are actually happening right now on certain devices. A lot of Amazon products are on sale right now. But there are every day different random products from other companies going on sale. So if you are a Prime subscriber and in the market for a certain product that you've been waiting for to go on sale, just keep an eye on it. Maybe put an alert on your phone or something for when it goes on sale. And like I said, keep an eye on what prices are now and what if they may be going up slowly. Maybe just don't buy it on Prime Day to say, hey, that's a good idea. Wait until after the fact, when it drops down to that price again, because it will. So, there you go. Prime Day, July 11th and 12th. That's all my news for this week.
Nice. Not too bad. I was actually, going back to your first thing, I was hoping that tablet actually was decent, but...
I was really hopeful. Like, watching the keynote on it and stuff, I thought, okay, I like what Google is doing here. This could be really good. But then I should have remembered, oh wait, it's Google and it's hardware. Yeah. And the only hardware that Google has been really successful at is phones. They've not been great at much of anything else. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I was kind of rooting for it, but oh well. All right, let's move on. Caleb, what you got for us?
Oh, man. We're going to start off in a great place, listener, with Nvidia. Now, if you've listened to any of the previous episodes of the podcast, I'm sure you're well aware that I am a gigantic fan of Nvidia. Absolutely love everything that they do. I have
they would
my
call
walls.
you the fanboy of Nvidia.
It's true. I am literally the fan. I have a whole bunch of like the fans from Founder Edition graphics cards all over my walls. No, I hate Nvidia. They're awful. Like, of all of the companies in the tech sphere right now that are just terrible companies, there's a few that stand out for their terribleness. And I mean, people scream about Apple, but the honest truth is that Apple still makes good products that improve on themselves year over year. Nvidia has kind of stopped doing that. So Nvidia is going to be launching the 4060 sometime this week, we're pretty sure. There are some benchmarks, like early benchmarks, presumably from testers or from media outlets that have their hands on the card early, getting their reviews ready to come out when the embargo lifts, when the card is released. So we've seen a few benchmarks popping up in places like Geekbench and, similar benchmarking applications online. Those benchmarks would seem to suggest that this thing has about a 20% uplift over the RTX 3060, and it costs about $300. Now, 20% year-over-year increase is not that unusual, except in the past, right? So when we're talking about the 20 series cards or the 10 series cards or the 9 series, right? When Nvidia released a new generation of graphics cards and you bought the 60 version of it, right? So the 960, you were expecting that to be about a 20% uplift over the 770, not the 760. Okay? That's how it's traditionally been. That's a generational leap where you're not only like the tier of card is not only faster or is not only matching the speed of the next tier up in the previous generation, but is in fact beating it by 15 to 20%. That was how Nvidia was doing their generational improvements from the 400 cards on up until the 20 series, the RTX 20 series. Then the 30 series happened, and they were matching the performance, or maybe beating the performance a little bit, of the next tier up, right? So the 3060 was basically the same performance as the 2070, maybe a little bit better. And now we have a case where the 4060 that is launching, we are expecting it to be slower than the 3070.
What?
The 3070, if you go buy a used one of those off of eBay or something like that, yeah, you don't get your 3-year warranty or whatever. It costs less than $300 or around $300. Kind of depends on the sale that you can find. And it has more RAM, faster RAM, has more CUDA cores, and just in general is a faster card. The only thing you're missing out on is DLSS frame generation, which is what Nvidia keeps throwing into their charts to say, yeah, this is 80% faster than the previous generation. No, it's not. You want to know why? Vast majority of games don't support it. And when I say vast majority of games, I mean there's like 3 that do, It's like...
Oh.
And the vast majority of games are not going to support it for years. Okay? So, yeah, so they're basically... They're just releasing cards to release them. Nvidia at this point does not care about their consumer graphics cards. The cards that they sell to gamers, the cards that they sell to just, us, to consumers, they have just stopped caring. Like, all of their money, all of their effort is going into, they were producing a whack ton of consumer graphics cards for miners, But now mining, cryptocurrency has crashed in a big way, and now that's not profitable, and so they don't make cards for them anymore. And all the gamers were like, yes, finally, they'll start making cards for us again. But no, AI happened. And so they've shifted all of their focus, all of their attention, all of their investment into making data center cards that they're selling for literally billions of dollars to giant companies that are implementing a whole bunch of AI stuff in their data centers. So Nvidia hates you, listener. That's really what it comes right down to. And you're right to feel that way. You feel like Nvidia hates you. It's absolutely true. If you're going to buy a new graphics card right now, AMD has dropped the prices on a lot of their previous generation cards. So you can buy them brand new for really, really good prices. You can, in fact, buy them brand new in some cases for less than buying them used, which is wild. So check out those deals. Look at used cards. There's a ton of used graphics cards on the market right now for really quite attractive prices. Absolutely nothing about the 40 series RTX cards from Nvidia is worth your money or your time or your attention. So just don't.
Jeez.
So there you go. That's Nvidia.
Gosh dang it. It sucks because I've always been Nvidia. So granted, I don't upgrade my graphics card as much, but
right. Well, and the thing is, you're on a 10 series card, and with the 10 series, it made sense. Like AMD wasn't making anything that really competed with the 10 series.
Well,
and all the 10 series cards were fantastic.
I went from a Sly 560 to a 1060. So
right. Yeah, so you skipped a few generations there. So, I mean, you're not due to update until the 5000 series cards anyways.
I know, right? So. That's how I go. I guess I'll do this.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, so I don't know. It made sense for a long time to buy Nvidia. It doesn't anymore. Like, honestly, if you're going to buy an Nvidia card, make darn sure it's a used one. Don't buy new Nvidia cards. They're priced.
Yeah.
Like, they're priced by people who do not live on this planet with the rest of us. So
yeah, used is probably going to be a best bet. Just if you're going for cheap. But I mean, if you have the money, by all means.
Look, if you have the money, the only Nvidia card that you should be buying from the 4000 series is the 4090.
Yeah, really.
Because the 4090 is a true generational improvement over the previous year. Because it is like twice as fast as the 3090 or twice as fast as the 3090 Ti. Like, the thing is stupid fast. Okay? But it costs a ridiculous amount of money. So anything else from Nvidia is overpriced. The 4090, they can price however they want because it is the fastest graphics card for video games. Yep. It just is. Nothing else even comes close. So they can price that however they want. And if you literally pee money, like when you get up in the morning, listener, then go for it. Buy a 4090. I'm a little jealous. How do I get that medical condition?
Yeah. Anyways.
So I'll move on. Enough ranting about Nvidia. Let's rant about another company that starts with an N. Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
So I did think it was really funny because, like, I was listening to last week's podcast and got to the end of it. And, we talked about how this week should be pretty slow. We're not really expecting anything. And then we were like, unless Nintendo decides last minute to have a Nintendo Direct this week. And this was just after the Nintendo Direct had happened. And I was like, yeah. So that happened.
Yeah.
So good news, listener. It won't be as long as last week's episode.
True.
Oh, man. Okay. So Nintendo Direct. In general, Nintendo tends to be pretty brief about these things. Like, most of the games that are launching on the Switch, like third-party games that are launching on the Switch, do not get shout-outs from Nintendo, right? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they get some attention. But usually only when Nintendo is directly involved with the development in some way. Like Mario X Rabbids, that whole Rabbids, franchise. Yeah. Technically developed by Ubisoft, but it features Nintendo IP, and so it gets mentioned in Nintendo Direct and stuff like that. Yes. Pokemon, technically, the Pokemon company is not Nintendo, but it's so intrinsically tied to Nintendo that they get shout-outs and this sort of thing. So, it's a much shorter thing. There's not nearly as much to talk about, mostly focused on main Nintendo properties. And as a person who has a Switch but does not play a ton of main Nintendo properties, there wasn't as much in here to interest me as there usually is. But I wrote down my highlights. I've got a list of games. We're not going to talk about every game that they talked about in the Nintendo Direct, but these are the ones that caught my attention. So first off, Pokemon Violet, Scarlet, they're getting some DLC.
Sweet.
I have them, actually. Like, they were bought for my kids by somebody who does not realize that my kids do not play Pokemon games.
Oh.
Like, they just don't. And this is the second set of Pokemon titles that they have bought for my kids. I'm like, stop it. Like, if anybody is ever going to play these, it's going to be me. Anyways.
You're like, they actually want Luigi's Mansion. Can we,
right. I need
recommend,
to, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I just need to be like, look, Smash Bros. Buy them Smash Bros. They would play the crap out of that. But anyways, yeah. Violet, Scarlet. I will say that with Violet and Scarlet, I was always kind of disappointed by the presentation that the Pokemon Company put into this. It doesn't look as good as it feels like it should on a console that did manage to have Breath of the Wild on it. You know, like Breath of the Wild is a huge open world experience, is running on the same hardware as Pokemon Violet, and Pokemon Violet just looks so much worse. So,
well, they did partner with Nvidia on their graphics. So.
Oh gosh, that's the problem.
I had to throw that in there.
Coming full circle.
It really, everything does. But yeah, so I don't know, like, if you're super into Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, then, you know, no shade. But it did seem like the Pokemon Company, it seems in general, like the Pokemon Company needs to take more than a year on their next game. You know? So the fact that they're only releasing some DLC in the near-term future is maybe a good indication. Maybe they'll take a couple of years to release the next Pokemon game. Like, guys, you're already printing money on stuff like the card games, and freaking people are still buying the games. I don't know. Just take some time off, guys. It's okay. The next game that I want to talk about is called MythForce, and this one was interesting to me simply because they specifically said inspired by Saturday morning cartoons. But I was watching it and especially looking at some of the artwork that they had for this game, and I'm like, was it inspired by the Saturday morning cartoons of my youth, or was it inspired by the Castlevania Netflix show? Because it looks an awful lot more like that second one. And I don't know about you guys, but the Saturday morning cartoons of my youth did not look like that. Maybe I wasn't watching enough anime. I don't know. But yeah, that's what they said. Saturday morning cartoons is what they said. I was getting Netflix Castlevania vibes instead. Either way is honestly good. Like, they're both good. Love the Netflix Castlevania show. So, the next thing. Okay, this was interesting. They had a teaser. It was not a teaser. It showed basically nothing. They're making a game about Princess Peach, which, considering how long Princess Peach has been a mainstay in the Mario franchise without getting a game, like, people joke about how the only time we ever see Luigi as a main character in his own game is Luigi's Mansion, and he's always scared and screaming and stuff like that. Which, like, yeah, that's a valid critique of Nintendo, but also, Princess Peach has never had a game.
Actually, I heard she did, but it was like on the DS.
Oh, that doesn't count. It was probably like Princess Peach, like Plants a Flower Garden or something dumb like that.
If I thought it was something like it was her emotions, and if something happened, she got mad. Like, then mad things would happen in the game, and she got sad. Or, I can't remember.
What?
I don't know why I'm remembering this, but
that's so much weirder and almost worse than I could have imagined.
I'm gonna find it.
Huh. Well, she's never had a main, like, franchise game anyways. So they teased that. They announced that that's coming. So it's not this year, like maybe next year kind of thing. So, but, you know, if you're a huge Princess Peach fan, finally. Oh man, this one was great. So seemingly good news, right? This is not a main Nintendo property. which was interesting. They gave it so much attention, but I feel like they were giving it attention just to say, look, we do have breadth on our console. It's not all like these cutesy chibi, like Mario style games. Here's Arkham Trilogy, like the Batman Arkham games on the Switch, which, yeah, okay, they're selling the whole trilogy. You get the whole thing. You can play it all on your Switch, and that's great. But I do feel like it says something about the graphics hardware of the Switch that if you want to put a AAA, like, action-based, highly detailed game onto the Switch, you have to go back to, when did Arkham City launch? Like 2015, 2014, Oof. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's how far back you have to go to get a AAA game to run on the Switch. Cool. Okay. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. That actually looks pretty sweet.
Hot Wheels is pretty cool.
That's my style of racing game. It's like all arcade stuff. They're going to let you make your own tracks, which, you know, as a person who grew up with the plastic rubber Hot Wheels tracks, yeah, that was like half of the appeal of having Hot Wheels cars. So that looks like a pretty sweet game. I don't have the first one, didn't ever play the first one, did look at the first one and thought that does look pretty cool. And I'm looking at the second one and thinking that does look pretty cool. Does it look cool enough to get me to buy it? We'll see. Pikmin 4 is a game. I feel like it's notable simply because of another game that Nintendo announced before they announced that Pikmin 4 was going to be coming. You may remember it, Metroid Prime 4. A lot of people are really excited about that. Yeah. Still hasn't launched. We still have no details about it beyond the fact that we're working on it. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yep. A lot of people are very happy about that.
Yeah. And yet, here's a fourth Pikmin game. Does Pikmin really have a following? Is there some kind of underground cult Pikmin
I think it is
following,
a cult following
that I'm just not aware of?
Because they're still making them. So
yeah, it's just like every Smash Bros game that I've played that has Pikmin, whatever his Olimar, that's his name, and like Pikmin levels, everybody's like, oh yeah, this guy, I hate this guy, because like the only exposure they have to him is through Smash Bros. I don't know anybody that's actually played a Pikmin game. Anyways, Konami, poor Konami. All they know what to do with the Metal Gear franchise is re-release it. They tried to do something after Kojima left. It was called Metal Gear Survive, I think. Yeah. And they managed to be even later to the open world survival franchise and do it even worse than Bethesda did with Fallout 76. So while Fallout 76 managed to limp through, like, finding its feet those first couple of years into something that people actually want to play now, Metal Gear Survive just died immediately. Like,
yep.
So it was gone so fast. So yeah, that's they have no idea what to do with the Metal Gear franchise, which is kind of understandable. I don't think anybody aside from Kojima ever understood the Metal Gear franchise.
Right.
Such a bizarre franchise.
I actually never played it.
Yeah. I mean, well, you can on Switch. They're going to be releasing it's Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, which is Sons of Liberty, and 3, which is can't remember what the third one's called.
Whatever.
Snake Eater. It's that one's Snake Eater.
Something like that.
So it's going to include those, like the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games, as well as Metal Gear. It's like a Metal Gear, the first one, and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So like it has essentially the first quote unquote 5 games of the Metal Gear franchise. Because they did Metal Gear and then Metal Gear Solid Snake and then Metal Gear Solid and then Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So eventually, presumably, we'll get to 4 and 5 at some point, but you'll be able to go back and play the first part of the Metal Gear franchise on Switch later this year, I think is when they said that was going to be releasing. So
very nice.
This one is probably the only one that actually is a game that I might purchase for my Switch. Vampire Survivor is coming to Switch. I feel like that was an inevitability after the reception that game had on portables like the Steam Deck. So many people are all like, this is the best thing on Steam right now.
Yeah.
So, it's a cheap game, and it's a great, it's a great and surprisingly deep way to get invested into something that you don't have to pay a ton of attention to actually invest a ton of time into it, So it's the sort of thing you can just grab on your commute, on the bus, while you're waiting at the doctor's office or something like that on a portable console, and just really, spend a few minutes here, spend a few minutes there, and it feels like the investment is actually worthwhile. And so, it feels like a natural to be ported over to the Switch. So they're doing that.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Wes was actually admitting that he does in fact sit down and play it on his home console, not on a portable, which I thought was kind of funny. Because it was very much the kind of game that I looked at it and I'm all like, but I don't have a portable. Seems like the kind of game that would only make sense on a portable. So when they announced it for Switch, I was kind of excited, and Wes is all like, I play that on the Xbox. I'm like, oh.
And I liked it so much. So it came to Game Pass. It's on Game Pass.
Is it on Game
PC
Pass?
Game Pass as well as console. But I actually gave him money, and this was when it was in preview.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is dope. I want to support this person's whoever. And so I actually paid for it. But it was, like he said, it was like $5 then.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's much more than that, if more than that now. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap.
And listener, you're going to look at gameplay for it if you haven't heard of Vampire Survivors. You should go check it out. You're going to look at it, and you're going to be like, this looks like the dumbest thing ever. But it's not.
Give it a chance is all. Yeah, just
that's
try
really,
it.
It's really all I can say, because you're not wrong. It does kind of look like the dumbest thing ever. It looks like the kind of game that you get advertisements for before videos on YouTube that you're 90% sure this is fake. This whole thing is a scam. It's just trying to install viruses on my computer or something like that. But it's not. It's actually a real game, and it's actually surprisingly deep and a lot of fun. So there you go. It's coming to the Switch. I'll maybe pick it up. We'll see. The next one that caught my attention was Headbangers. This one is a quote unquote self-proclaimed rhythm royale, right? So basically a rhythm game that is calling itself a battle royale.
Yeah.
Weird. It looks real weird. Your pigeons dancing. I don't know.
Yep.
It was strange enough to get a shout out. So good job, Headbangers. You're weird. And then there was the Mario stuff. So Wes is excited about we decided remake is probably the correct term for Super Mario RPG, which was a SNES game originally, right?
It was one of the very last SNES games, if I remember. It was I think the next generation already had come out, and they put this out on
right.
Yeah, but it was a collaboration with Square.
Yes. And
well, so I guess is it Squaresoft at that time?
It would have been, because that it was a long time ago. We're talking early 90s for this thing. So old game, but a well-received RPG of itself in and of itself. And there have been some other RPG-esque Nintendo Mario games since then, but this is the first one that was this is totally a role-playing game and has nothing to do with the platforming mechanics that you're really familiar with in a Mario game. So it's a remake of that. They're fully 3D now. It appears to be the same game, right? From what they showed, doesn't look like it's going to be really adding anything or changing anything, but it is a ground up remake and a new engine. It's not just a remaster or reskin or something like that. So should be a good way to play it if you're looking for something like that.
It looks good. The thing that's holding me back though is they're charging full price for it.
Of course they are. This is Nintendo.
$59.99, but still, it's exciting. I played it. I really enjoyed that one. So,
yep. Yep. And if you're looking for more classic Mario platforming stuff, the next 2D Mario platformer in the long-running franchise of Mario platformers is going to be Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which basically is just feeding into the idea that all of us have had that Mario is constantly tripping on acid.
Or mushrooms.
Like that is, yeah, exactly. Because we've always joked about how like Mario as a franchise is actually just a plumber who is constantly high because he keeps eating all these mushrooms he finds on the ground. That's a good headcanon. And apparently Nintendo agrees, because now in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you can eat, like, basically, they're not mushrooms. What do they call them?
They were like flowers.
Wonder
something.
flowers or something like that.
Yeah.
But he grabs one of those, and then the whole game world starts doing just whacked out bizarre crap, and it looks completely psychedelic. Actually looks pretty funny. I don't play platformers, like I'm not a big fan of a side-scrolling platformer, but I may pick this one up just because it looks so wacky. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to cost like $60 or $70, so maybe I won't, just because I'm not going to pay just $70 for
Side note, if you do pay for the online stuff or a part of a family membership thing, they do offer those Nintendo coupons where you give them $100 and they give you 2 coupons for any game. So if you have 2 games,
discount. Yeah.
If you have 2 games that you want to buy, like for example, I believe Zelda's actually $79. I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, it is.
And then these other ones are $59, so $60. I mean, you're saving a couple bucks there.
Yeah.
If you're dedicated, like I want these 2 games, like there's a discount for you.
And that's the thing, is you got to have 2 in mind specifically.
For that price.
Yep. Well, yeah. So that's the Mario stuff. I don't know. Just the Switch in general. I think it's a really cool console. I understand why so many people are into it. Like I said, I'm probably not going to pick up any of these games other than maybe Vampire Survivor, just because it's a great time waster and it makes sense on a handheld console in a really big way to me. And so it's stuff like that, and like Hades and stuff. There's a few games that I've picked up for the Switch that I'm all like, this is the kind of thing that really works on a handheld.
Yes.
So, they had a few of those, but also a bunch of news on their first party titles. And if you're a big fan of Nintendo, can't really argue with it. They have a good history of making good games, and that's fine. So there you go. Nintendo Direct.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Are you done with your gaming news?
I am. That is it for me.
Okay. Well, I had a couple things I didn't want to mention. Well, I guess we'll get the big elephant, non-Mario elephant out of the room. That was a thing on Super Mario Wonder. Sorry.
Yeah, you can. There's an elephant flower now.
ABK, Microsoft, the things happened this week. The first 2 days, Thursday, Friday. We've decided we didn't really want to kind of get into all the nitty-gritty details or anything. We're just kind of waiting for us on our podcast. We were thinking we'll just wait till the end, and then we can give comments of, hooray, we're glad this will finally happen, or dang, that sucks, and then wonder who they're going to buy next, So,
yeah.
They dedicated $70 billion to buy games, whether it's Activision or said other. So,
fair enough.
So we'll move on from that. So, I did want to mention this. I guess this is good timing. I don't know. No one likes this, but Microsoft is raising prices for the Xbox Game Pass as well as their Xbox Series X. We all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So it's not too big of a shocker, but if you live in the US as well as Japan, Chile, Brazil, or Colombia, it's going to remain the same price as it is now. But if you, starting in August this year, it will actually increase in most European countries, Canada, and Australia. it will increase to the certain amount. So, for example, for most European countries, it's going to go $549.99. Canada $649.99. Australia $79 or $7.99.
Yeah.
So, if you were looking to get an Xbox Series X, maybe now's the time to buy before August. And if you live in those countries, or you have a friend in the U.S. or other countries, I don't know. Let's see. Get over here. Game Pass. So they are going to increase this. This is actually overall for all Game Pass. So they said it will actually start July 6th for the new subscribers. It will be for console. It will go from $9.99 a month to $10.99 a month. So $1. If you do Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you're going from $14.99 to $16.99. So $2 increase. And then PC Game Pass, they're going to keep it the same.
Oh, yes.
The reason why is they have mentioned this in a lot of things, and I have been kind of on the court cases. They have not seen console growth very much. They feel it's kind of peaked. And so now it's just kind of like, well, let's get a couple extra bucks here and probably help them in their court case, because if you raise it now before the Activision, they looks a little better than,
right.
But they do feel the PC is a place to grow, so that's probably why they kept it at $9.99.
Okay.
Which honestly makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I'm here for it. That means that theoretically the number of points that I need in order to get a free month of PC Game Pass via searches on Bing won't go up. Which would be great.
True. Actually, I wonder. I'll have to keep an eye on that and see if it goes up for Ultimate and stuff.
Yeah.
On that.
I'll be interested to see.
The rewards points are going to go down. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, that.
I've been noticing I've been getting a lot more rewards points for all the little things that they throw. Granted, it's not all in the rewards website. So, like, I have rewards on my Xbox. I have rewards on this, but I also, I was telling Landon, if you go to their Microsoft Bing app, just turning it on, they'll give you rewards points daily. They're like, yeah, you got here. Here's 10 points. Like, so.
Yeah.
They're throwing that stuff around. And with these price increases, I'm one that's always buying. It's funny because I've maxed out mine, and every month I just purchase another one, and then I'm purchasing this stuff for everyone else. I have like a brother that's like, hey, my Game Pass ran out. Here you go. Anywho, let's move on. There is going to be another showcase.
Oh dear.
But this one, Caleb, you might be more into this. It's going to be their ID at Xbox showcase, which is their independent developer showcase. That's actually going to be next month in July 11th. So this one's actually going to be really cool. This is the independent people that bring in their games, all the people that are just these random. I mean, we've gotten so many cool things from developers on this, and so
it is.
I think this one will be good.
There's always like a lot of, hey, we're just a variation on Hollow Knight or something like that. Yeah. Like there's always a ton of that kind of thing. Or here's another like cutesy farming sim game. Like we don't already have a million of those, literally a million of those.
A million, yeah.
But there's always something like new and interesting that pops up that you're just like, was not expecting that. Okay. So yeah, it's a fun one to keep an eye on.
Yeah. It does say that they teamed up with IGN, and so you could probably catch it on any one of their streaming or website there, plus Microsoft and their streaming stuff. So, let's see. It says it'll kick off at 10 a.m. PST, and you can, like I said, stream live on YouTube and Twitch. So it'll be one we'll definitely keep an eye on, because I'm sure there's something you and I will be like, oh, this one looks pretty cool.
There'll be something interesting, I'm sure.
And that's actually all of my news that I have. So I think we're at the end of the episode, unless Landon has one more thing.
No.
Really had to look around there to make sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes I keep my notes on the ceiling. So,
Just do I have my one more thing here? No. You should do that every time now. I know the listeners can't see you do this, but just pull something from the top of it, just notes or something. One more thing. All right. Well, listener, we appreciate you listening to us. If you want us to talk about anything, you can, or have a question on anything, you can get a hold of us on our social media platforms, as well as our website at callingallplatforms.com. If you want to check out any of our videos and reviews on stuff, you can check out our YouTube channel there, Calling All Platforms Games, as well as Calling All Platforms Tech. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.